I'm Luke Clegg. I'm involved in a bunch of projects like CoLab Camp and Change the Future, and I make films and various things like that. This is my friend James.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Luke. Hi, James.
I'm very interested in collaboration, working on CoLab Camp, and really interested in collaboration in general, and kind of group governance and how we make better groups teams.
Yes, me too. I am especially interested in this because I feel like if a bunch of us can create a really good example of a human collaboration where everyone is self-managed and autonomous and free as much as they can be without impinging on other people's freedoms, and we find a way of working together where we're inspired and we draw upon insight and we make decisions in a really effective, insightful way, um, and kind of go through that process of co-creating a vision, decision making, drawing upon collective intelligence and the history and predictions of the future as much as possible, realistically. And finally, take that whole conversation into actually leading tasks and people actually doing actions in a way that doesn't then turn into chaos, but rather people who are interested or affected, like know who's doing what, by when, how, if that's relevant or needed. So yeah, it's the whole collaboration spectrum. So today we're chatting about tools that facilitate that. Oh yeah, I was halfway through a sentence. I think if a group of us can make, well, just the more of us kind of groups and projects that set really good examples for that, really good precedents for that kind of way of working, which I think is quite radical and quite rare in schools and companies and charities and projects. Actually, it shows a lot of promise for scaling that up to bigger communities and organisations, possibly similar-ish maybe to teal organisations that already exist, like big companies referenced in Reinventing Organisations, and schools and possibly even countries and nations, or bits might be taken out and influence some of the ways we make decisions in democracy and be more representative, liquid democracy and all that shit. Splurge. Preface. I kind of almost went a bit into that sort of defining at least my working guide on what I think I'm looking for in collaboration tech. I mean, I think my dream tool. Should we have this? Should we have this bit of the conversation now?
Yeah, go for it. This would be a good place to start. Yeah, what's your dream tool? What would it do?
I think my dream tool would be as simple and easy to use as possible, obviously, while realistically I can only imagine it having some learning curve. I think it would take a while to get used to, because the kind of tool I would like to use most of all in like perfect dreamland utopia would actually, I think, cover, from the early stage forming of an idea and defining a vision and intentions, whether that's tackling youth homelessness or energy or transport issues, whatever the problem is or the intention, the driver, if you want to talk sociocracy, bring people together in a relationship of equivalence where everyone's voice is equal, not a top-down hierarchy. We can together just very organically, whatever the fuck that means, form a vision and refine it over time, not be confined by this old, concrete, increasingly aging vision that we made before that we're unable to change. I mean, this is sort of agile theory, I think, in business and stuff, that you always can question and change the way you work, not just what you're creating. But you can co-create a vision, ultimately reach a point finally where your vision turns into actionable actions, and there's a decision-making process there. And I feel like there's a lot of tech that's tried to help with that decision-making process, a bit like Lumio and stuff, but it's often not generally connected to the sort of big picture visionary stuff very effectively, or if it is, then it's not connected to the following stage, which is the sort of task management kind of bit, where especially if you're kind of checking in and out of various different projects, I find it really useful to be able to just jump straight into an app or a website and just see the kind of hopefully handful of things that I've committed myself to as part of this group, this collaboration, you know, out of that vision, out of that decision-making process. What have I said I would do? When did I say I'll try and do it by? How am I doing it? Who am I doing it with? Yeah, so vision, decision-making, acting, task management, basically. Yeah.
Can I ask you these questions to kind of try and flesh out what that thing that you're visualizing?
Yeah.
So are you, I imagine there's some context where you're with a group of people and you kind of have identified roughly some reason that you're all there together. Maybe you're online, maybe you're in the same room, but there's people. So I'm wondering, the tools that you're thinking about, are those like, one example of an app that you installed on your phone, and kind of everybody has the same app. Another example of a tool is democracy, which you don't need an app for. Everybody kind of has a collective understanding of the process around democracy. There's a thing you vote on, and then the group decides. And that's a methodology. It's a particular process. You don't need a physical tool to run a democracy process. Okay. If you're doing it with this group of people.
We didn't use a tool in my democratic school.
So when you're thinking about these tools, is it what is it? Is it a methodology that you've all agreed on before? Is it a paper form? Is it an app? Is it a website?
Yeah.
How did it work?
So I think there's two ways to interpret that, I guess. One is existing tools, and one is like my sort of dream tool that doesn't exist yet, probably. And I think, yeah, I think I can't imagine a tool that prevents you from using it in a shit way. Like, I think, for example, we've probably more or less mastered the hammer, the manual hammer now. Like, maybe we can make it out of slightly better materials or whatever, but I don't think we're going to revolutionarily advance the design of the hammer. You know, it's pretty good. However, no hammer really that I can imagine, or that I think really should be designed, you know, and that's where we put our effort and resources. You know, a hammer that can't be used in a shit way. You can always use a hammer for killing people or breaking something or like doing rubbish stuff. And I think probably any technology is going to be at the risk of being used really crappily, ineffectively, or just confusingly and shitly. I don't know, like, obviously features can be built in to kind of discourage certain behavior for sure. And as much as possible, that should be done. Like a chainsaw can be designed to be as safe to use as possible, stuff like that. But yeah, so I imagine it as like, you need to know how to use that tool really well, you know, like I don't just want to create a Swiss Army knife that's really great. I also think there's going to be a cultural thing, of course, that's going to need to change. Like, no app is going to fundamentally change how much people trust each other in a school, or an e-democracy app that's going to just suddenly overnight make governments really interested in what the public have to say, or suddenly believe that they've got loads of insight. I mean, it might change these things a bit, and tech can over time, I think, kind of make people go, oh, didn't realise how friendly my neighbours are. Now thanks to this app, it's a part of helping me realise.
Yeah. So we've kind of got this assumption that there's some either explicitly or implicitly agreed cultural similarity between this group that is going to use this tool.
Yeah. So yeah, they can't.
They have to agree on the way it works and the attitude, I suppose, of the tool. You could say that people who, for example, live in London have implicitly agreed to work in a democratic system. They've agreed to work methodology, the cultural. I don't quite know the right word. The attitude of that tool that comes with it. So there's the culture thing. You have to have this similar culture to use this tool together. Yeah. And then also you also have to know how to use it well.
All have to know how to
use it well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like a tech, just a purely tech kind of buttons thing, and then there's like a human relationships thing. So, because I mean, like for a start, it takes personal qualities of like, you need some fucking patience to take up to start learning like a big tool. Like everyone had that when they learned Microsoft Word, and probably most people have felt it's worth it to invest some time learning Microsoft Word or Excel or email at least, or even Facebook. Like I'm sure people have spent, every person has spent a number of hours kind of getting familiar with how to create groups, or anyone who sort of cares at all about using Facebook and would miss it from their lives, even if they'd also be grateful, they'd also miss it. Those people would have looked into it and learned quite a lot. They have a learning curve, these sort of more advanced tools. I mean, even Twitter, I'm still learning stuff about like how it makes a big difference where you mention someone in a tweet and how best to use it, and retweeting, and there's quite a lot of nuances if you want to master these tools. But yeah, so there's a question now, I guess, about what are the minimum requirements for the culture in your human collaboration before the tool becomes useful?
Yeah. I'm just making a few notes while we're talking.
Wicked, yeah. Yeah, do you want to link me up whatever you're typing, and then we can both look at it together?
Yeah, I'm doing it on paper because my computer's really big crap, but I'll type it up afterwards.
If you're up for typing up what you write, I will promise to go over it and add things and abracadabra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we have some similar views on this, which is fun. Yeah, that like an app, you can't just give a fucking dysfunctional, disrespectful, impatient, restless collaboration some shiny new app and expect that to by itself revolutionize that human collaboration, that company or project or school into something suddenly awesome.
Yeah. And there's also the opposite situation where a group who have a lot of resonance around a particular thing naturally flow through naturally find their own way of working, and they don't need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so to say that all humans need to have apps and certain websites, especially ones that don't even exist now, in order to have a functional, useful human collaboration would be a pretty mad statement. It would be suggesting that there's never been a useful human collaboration that's valuable to anyone, which is definitely a bit of a ridiculous claim. So I guess the need is,
I feel like groups like Collab and Teal for Startups are making a claim that is not too far away from it, which is that most of the collaborations that happen at the moment happen in an environment which we're going to stand up and say is unhealthy, is bad for the people in it, and it has externalities which we're going to say are bad. This is bad for the planet. This is bad for people who are very far away from it. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say that we are talking about a methodology, a way of working, which we don't have very much experience with. Well, I think we are seeing most collaborations, at least in the UK, for example, are not great collaborations. They're either successful collaborations and work inside this really well-established thing of money and companies and the financial system is a way to facilitate organisation. And that works really well in that context. And we're saying, okay, that context is not working anymore. We want something different, and we're going to have to invent something completely new because we don't want to do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, there's many ways that I think these apps and websites we're about to talk about, be they existing ones or ones we'd like to see exist one day, there's a lot of ways that that tech and the culture that I think we agree needs to come hand in hand with it. There's a lot of ways that could permeate into the sort of wider world, I guess. One could be through like governance or democracy, like hearing the public opinion on local or national, even global issues politically. Or it could be it could permeate first through, rolling out through kind of smaller self-organized projects, or maybe even education. Like that's kind of where I kind of began with it, was I was imagining creating a web platform for involving kids more in decision making, thinking, kids are the most comfortable demographic with tech and apps, and this is a way that, gives them an opportunity to be heard more and influence decisions, and gradually for me, this is something I should have said earlier, I think, is part of the reason I'm so passionate about people having the opportunity, if they want, to influence decisions that they care about and that they know about and that affect them, is because I feel like that is really hand in hand with a sense of belonging, which I think is kind of the most important human need, really. I feel like we can't thrive if we don't have a sense of belonging, and if we really do have a sense of true belonging with other humans and kind of nature as well. We really thrive together, and we make good decisions, and we look after ourselves and other people. So how can we foster that sense of belonging? And obviously it's not an app first and foremost, but I feel like there's a place for technology in that transition from where we are to that sense of belonging. So I think for me that sense of belonging is largely brought about by a sense of ownership. You care about your community, like in my school, because we all had a massive, crazy, massive voice of influence in all decision making, literally everything. When we made bad decisions, there was no one else to blame. It was our fault. We took accountability for it. We didn't blame ourselves, but we learned about it. And we didn't break stuff or leave rubbish around, because we cleaned our own school, and it was literally our school. So we felt like it belonged to us, and we belonged to it. And there was almost a sort of stereotypical kind of Native American sort of, looking back at it, I've never thought of that before, but I think we were very much like the school and me, we are one. And it was like that, a lot of kids leaving that school were really, you don't forget, because you don't have, it's not easy to have a relationship like that with a community of people in society. I couldn't find it in any other of my education institutions or organisations.
Yeah. Your microphone's gone funny again. You might want to fiddle with it a bit. If you can hear me while you're doing it, I think it's interesting that what you're saying is backed up by the Wellbeing research of like NIF and Action for Happiness. They specifically call out a feeling of empowerment to affect, to feel like you're involved in decisions about your own environment as a component of well-being.
What's a component of well-being, do you say?
Empowerment. Feeling like you have control over whatever environment you're in, and feeling like you have the ability to actually enact change in that environment.
Yeah, this environment isn't happening naturally. Yeah.
So
yes.
In terms of technology,
yeah,
I'm at an interesting point in my life where I'm using technology for my whole career, and I'm now basically anti-technology. By that I mean not using technology to try and achieve something before you've explored every possible way of doing it in a humanistic, person-to-person way. There's this idea that a technical problem is a social problem first. And if you try and technically to solve the problem, you end up in a bigger social problem. So, like in terms of what we're talking about, I think I'm envisaging them in being methodology and practices first, and then you engage with technology if that helps you in some way, just the administration of your methodology. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the tool is an absolute slave of your human-centered human relationships and processes.
Yeah. And you can only think about building a tool when you understand pretty well what the human process is, what this thing is you want to automate. And that's my number one problem. And that's why all these things that appear as these technical tools, to me, don't solve my problem because they choose a very small sliver of a problem and build some technology. They don't have a holistic way they try and make these tools. Mate, do you have headphones handy? I'm listening to myself with an echo.
If I leave this call and you stay on, I can rejoin it, can't I?
I don't know.
I'm gonna try it. Actually, yeah, I wonder if, let me try this. If I join again, I'm gonna leave this one. You stay there for a sec, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna grab my headphones.
Okay. How does that sound any better, do you think? Is that just the same? Pretty similar.
It sounds much better.
The sound is much better. Nice. Okay. It's not seeing my webcam, though, is it?
No. No, your audio is much better now, though.
Okay. Oh, there. Have I got a webcam now?
Yep.
And the sound is still good?
It's okay.
It's gotten a little worse, though, is it?
Yeah, it's got a little bit. It's crackling a little bit now.
Okay. And what about if I change microphone like that and I use the webcam microphone? Is that exactly the same?
I don't think that is actually changing your microphone. Like the sound is not changing.
Okay. All right. Have you fiddled with the bandwidth?
Yeah, I've turned mine down. So
Okay. Cool. I've got pretty super fast internet here, so I don't think there'll be a bandwidth thing my end. But I can turn my video off. Do you reckon that might help?
it's okay for now. I'll tell you if it goes wonky again.
Sick. All right then. So yes. Kind of within that frame of the tool being the slave and all of that stuff, I'd still be interested to see what tools and tech you're most interested in out there. What's exciting you most, and share stuff I found as well. I've kind of already opened up like 5 tabs of things, and yeah, I guess that's one way we could go forth, is like do a little sort of 3-4 minute demo of, I mean, maybe we know all the same tools. Maybe there's aspects of those tools that one of us knows better than another. Or is that a direction you're interested in going on, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, for sure. I'd be really interested in doing that because I don't have much experience at all of those tools. I've read a bit about holacracy and sociocracy and these kinds of things, but I don't know enough about the real nuts and bolts of the way they work.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Maybe if you want to go through what you know, I'll be making notes and I'll try and find ways to like categorize them or something like that.
Sweet. Okay. What I think I would appreciate most is, while I show you these, I want to feel like you won't even allow yourself to get half bored with me rabbiting on. Like if you want to you're bored of a tool, you want to go to the next one or whatever, or you feel like switching around or whatever, like more, or like slower, faster, more detail, whatever. Cool. So maybe if I'll share my screen. And then, are you getting that?
Yep.
Yeah. So if I just give you like a 20-second overview of each one, then you can tell me which one to start with, and maybe we won't have time for all of them.
Sweet.
Lumio is probably one of the more famous ones I bet you know about, like kind of.
Yeah, I know Lumio, yeah.
Cool. All right. So maybe working away from Lumio, then Vocalize is what Change the Future ended up using. And this is totally non-profit. It's aiming to go open source. One of those. I think it's a little bit ugly and got some silly things, but it's actually been running a really long time, and it's an e-democracy website that is really big in Wales in schools and colleges, and it's similar to Lumio in a lot of ways, but it's more kind of, rather than consent-based decision making, it's more like majority rule, I guess. Although in Change the Future we took a 1 out of 5 vote as a block. So you can do that. So you get this kind of scale here, and you can give various reasons why you don't want to vote, if that is the case.
Okay.
So then there's Discuto, which I think is really interesting. This focuses more on, you write a document